In this video, we're going to compare headphones. We're going to take a look at the Sennheiser HD650s and their newer replacement, the Sennheiser HD660s. I have both of them here. I'm going to tell you what I like about each one and what I don't like about each one, make the comparison, and ultimately, which one of these two is going to win? Which one am I going to choose to be my workhorse headphones for the next, 5 years? So, let's get started. Okay, so I'm a film composer, I write music, I produce music. Why do I use headphones? Well, everyone has their own story. But I think it's fair to say that most composers or people who work in this industry do some of their work on headphones. For me, I like at the end of the day in the studio to go outside, to have a different environment, and on my laptop is where I will do any of my mastering that I need to be doing. Any of my soundtrack building, if I'm making a soundtrack, putting a soundtrack together, or indeed reels, which is a job that every composer has to do a lot. Sitting building reels can take hours. And I do all of that outside on a headphone. So the headphones that I choose are very important because I'm doing mastering, I'm doing also sometimes mix checking. Sometimes when I'm finished the mix in here, I'll go out there in the headphones and check my mix. The thing about headphones for people like us, it's a whole different ballgame to audiophiles or people who are listening to music for enjoyment. For them, it's important to have the headphones that sound the best to you. And man, you can spend thousands of dollars on a pair of headphones. For us, it's different. It's not about how good the headphone is, it's about how good we know the headphone that we're using. Now, for the last 5 years, I've been using these Master & Dynamics MH40s. I really like them. Really stylish looking set of cans. They sound great, but they're beginning to break apart here. And you know, they were also kind of made of metal. They're a little bit heavy, so you know, get a bit of stress wearing them. So out of there. So this time around, I wanted a few things. I wanted them to be light. I wanted them to have open ears. In other words, those are closed ears. They sit around you and they have a backing. The metal, the body is closed around you. Open ears are like these. You can see the driver in there. That's basically the speaker, for want of a better description. And what's covering it is just a mesh. So it's open to the air. The disadvantage of that is you can hear, when I'm sitting outside, I can hear the birds or the creeper crawling in the pool come on, or the traffic down the road. But it's a minor irritation for me. I like the sense that open ears give you of just being a little more open, you know. And for me, wearing those other cans, you know, after 4 hours of wearing them, I'm getting fatigued because they're, number one, heavy, and number two, you get that claustrophobic, because all the sound waves are going in between your ear and the speaker. Whereas here, there's air moving outside as well. And so they just feel a bit better. I also wanted a good reference headphone. Of course, I always look for that. But I've been reading and researching, and a lot of people are talking about these HD650s. So I got a pair, and I've been testing them out, and they are great. The first thing you will notice about these is they are quite light and quite plasticky. Now, when you're paying $500 for a pair of headphones, you're accustomed to having a little more weight to them. These are really light, and you think, oh, gee, this is a really cheap build. But actually it's not. This is a really good build. The material they're using on here is light, but it's really strong. I have no doubt that these things are going to last me well beyond 5 years. They also have ear covers, what do you call them, ear flap, I don't know what you call these things, that are removable, which is great, because if you do wear these down after a while, they are replaceable. The cable, also replaceable. You can unplug on each out of each side, and replace the cable. And while I'm about it, the cable, oh my God, this is a godsend for me. I know some people complain about it, but look at this cable. I mean, this thing is, I don't know, 2 meters, more maybe, 6 feet, 10 feet, I don't know. But an awesome, solidly built cable. I'm just so happy I can work on my laptop and I can relax and lie back and maybe move over there to grab my drink, whatever, and the cable allows me to do all that. Whereas a lot of these other headphones have a short cable and it's annoying. So I love that. Now, the 660s look almost identical. Look at that. Very, very similar design, very similar build. The 660s are a matte color. They look a little more modern, a little hipper. And apparently the driver is a completely different type of driver that was borrowed from the 700s, I believe. But there are differences in the sound, and we'll get to that. But other than that, they're pretty much identical. They have the same kind of cable, the same, replaceable ear cushions, whatever the hell you call them. And both of these have to wear in a bit. They're a bit tight, and you'll feel them clamping you a little bit, and they have to wear in, but they also have to wear into their sound after working on them for a month or so. They start to wear in, and they start to sound a little better. I've had both of these about a month now. So now, of course, I can't demonstrate the sound for you, so you're just going to have to take my word for it. But it's a very subjective thing. You know, I borrowed some time back from my friend of mine a pair of Audeze LCD2s, I think they were. They're roughly a $1,400 or $1,500 headphone, I believe. And the Audeze range goes way up to thousands of dollars. These LCDs, too, I mean, they're amazing headphones. My Lord, they're planers. They're also open, back like this. And they just sound incredible. Love those things. But the problem is I found myself lying back and admiring my handiwork rather than actually working, which is not going to help me. So you want headphones that you can get accustomed to and that make you work, right? So the first thing with headphones is they've got to sound like your monitors a little bit. When you put your headphones on and go and listen to a piece you've just been mixing in your studio, you go outside, put them on the headphones, they should sound fairly similar, or as similar as possible. That's what you want. And the monitors I have in here are Beyerdynamics. The ones I have in there are Neumann's. And with these, I'm happy to say, when I listen to a mix, I'm not immediately surprised. Whereas if I listen to something on, a pair of Beats or something like that, things are a little different, and you don't want that. Now, the 650s, to me, are a really good reference headphone. They are enjoyable. They are enjoyable to listen to, no question, but they are not incredibly enjoyable to listen to, if that makes any sense to you. They seem to me quite flat, and some people have said that there is a kind of veiled sound to these, that these headphones are kind of known for. And I get that, because there is a sort of soft, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like if you were to say that the music coming into these headphones has an attack. The attack on these is quite soft. They are veiled. I guess that's the right word for them. That's not a bad thing. I think these headphones are great. When you pick up these, the 650s, the 660s rather, what I notice is I notice a bit of a bump in the mids somewhere around 5.6, 3, 4, 5, 6, that area. But I notice that the way uppers, going 8K and above, the air and the breath, I notice is stronger on these than they are on these. And I think I prefer that. I have a tendency sometimes to mix my mids a little bit too harsh. So if I have something that's giving me a little more of that mid, that's going to be good for me, because I'm going to mix a little less harsh on my mids. I also notice the bass in these guys is a little more extended, going down to the sub 100s. They seem to be a bit stronger in these guys, whereas these guys, the bass seems to be a little more tighter, maybe at around 100 or so. And so I found that I had the sense of sort of swimming in the mix a little bit. I had that less with these, which I like. I also feel that these headphones have a faster attack. They seem snappier. They seem to respond quicker. And I like that too. Why? While I'm talking about these differences are really quite minuscule. If you pick up a pair of Beyerdynamics or something else, you're going to get much more of a difference. These two guys, even though they're built on different drivers, sound, they're in the same ballpark. But I think if I was listening to music only, I would probably choose the 650s. They really sound good. They're going to last forever. But for me, I think I'm going to have to go with the 660s. These guys just seem to work a little harder for me, and I think I'm going to get my bass and my mid to upper treble a lot tighter with these guys than I am with these guys. Okay, now there are two other little things that also make a difference and were instrumental also in me choosing the 660s over the 650s. And that is that the 650s are 300 ohm and the 660s are 150 ohm. What does that mean? That means that these guys require more power to drive them. So to get to a certain volume or level of loudness, you need more power to drive these than you do with these. What does that mean? For someone as lazy as I, who doesn't use a headphone amplifier, who just goes straight out of the laptop because I'm just lazy that way, these are a little bit too soft. So I typically find I have to put my speaker up full blast on the laptop to get these guys to a level where I'm happy. And so I have no headroom, which I don't like. Because when you're mastering, you're not always mastering. You start your mastering process and you're way down from where the sound level is where you're eventually going to end up. So with this one, I battle a bit. With the 660s, I find I have plenty of headroom with a laptop. And indeed, if I plug these into a cell phone, I'm going to have the same issue. Right out of the cell phone, you're going to get more volume out of these guys. And so for me, that was an important consideration. The other thing is the cable. They both have the same cable, the same attachment, which is great. If these cables die at any point, you can replace them. Easy. But what the 660s have, which is, and by the way, the end of the cable is a 1/4 inch regular jack, which is awesome. And that plugs into a converter to the small 1/8 inch jack, which is perfect. Now this is just the regular stereo jack. But what's nice about the 660s is it comes with another cable which plugs into the headphones. It's the same length, the same type of cable. But here, it's got an iPhone 1/8 inch jack, which is super awesome. The 650s doesn't have that. So technology-wise, you're a little bit on the obsolete side with that. This is a great addition. The other thing the 660s have, which 650s don't, is a box. It comes in this nice big box, albeit just cardboard. It's not a bad box, and certainly is good enough. Oops, hello. It certainly is good enough to rest your headphones at night, out of harm's way. And one other thing I want to say about these headphones is, why didn't I get the Order Z, or why didn't I get the HD650s, which are like twice the price of these, 3 times the price actually of these, because these are workhorses. Let me pick up the 660s because these are going to be my workhorses. These things are going to be worn, if not every day, every other day, for hours and hours on end. And, sometimes I forget them outside there. Sometimes they get left over there and, someone runs over them. Or these things are going to last and I don't have to feel precious about them. So, for me, the 660s, made by Sennheiser, is the clear winner. This comes in at around just under $500. This one's about $50 cheaper. There are rumors that this one is being discontinued. I don't know if that's true. But either way, I'm sticking with the 660s. So thanks for watching. I made this episode because when I was researching for this, I didn't find too many comparisons between the two. And so I hope this is helpful to someone who's considering either of these headphones. And take care out there. I'll catch you next time.